Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back with another fake Grand Order video, still talking about the GSSR. Why am I doing another GSSR video when the last video I did was literally me doing an hour and 30-minute long video talking about the GSSR? Well, the reason is because I've had players in the past who are usually a little bit more beginner focused who found the video length a little bit too intimidating. So for them, I make this video, which is going to try and be 10 minutes to 15 minutes in length. It's going to be a very, very brief overview, and if you want more detail on all the banners, then you can gladly go to that other video, but if you just want to know some basic stuff, that's what this video is for. So that's going to be today's video. I hope you like it. If you do, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get this video done, shall we? So when is the banner happening? It should be here on the 31st. We're actually going to have a stream on the 31st, and then likely 2 hours from when the stream began, we'll hit day roll, and then the event itself will start. So that's the funny thing, is that the Happy New Year's events always start on the 31st for us. I know it does for me every single year. That's just the way it goes. I think there was, apparently this is the one year where it did not happen that way. Yeah, that was the one year. Every other year since then, it's been like that. So that's how I expect it to go. Some things to know is that it requires premium/paid sync courts, so if you're free to play, you can't do the GSSR at all. There's no way for you. I wish there was, but there isn't. So if you're free to play, you shouldn't even be watching this video. Feel free to click off. It hurts my channel, but I would prefer you not to be tempted. You can only get one of the servants on the banners randomly. So it's not a selectable thing. You can only choose one banner out of the 29 different banners and pools. One thing to note is that on JP, they most recently started being able to pick two. It'd be very nice if at this live stream, they announced that we could now pick two, which means we would be able to summon on two banners out of the 29 damn banners. But because we don't know if that's what they're going to do, I have to assume that's not the case, so that's what I'm going to be on the understanding you're picking one of these. And if it doesn't end up that way, great, we just get another banner to pick from. And then also a Holy Grail is given as a bonus present when you summon on one of them. Some other four things to be taken a note of: the new SSR that releases for New Year's, Yamato Takara, will obviously not be in any of these pools. Sodom's Beast Draco is also excluded because they don't like Beast being on the New Year's banners or these type of GSSRs where it's a randomly picked from an assortment. They've always said that, Nasu has said that the reason is that they want it to feel like you are specifically picking the beast and welcoming them to your side, but I feel like you already do that when you pick one of these banners. So I think the easy answer is we just want you to spend more to potentially get one of them. The Raid Up craft essences for New Year's are going to be on these banners, but they will not be on Raid Up. They'll just kind of be on there so you have a chance to get them. And then the GSSR banners are categorized by gender, NP card type, NP effect, with some servants appearing on more than one banner due to their gender and NP characteristics. Alright, so we got those basics out of the way, and now we can take a look at these 29 banners. Like I said, in the bigger video I go over every single one of them, but I will not be doing that for there. I'll be selecting some specific ones to take note of. Obviously, when it comes to GSSR, at the end of the day, you get to choose. A lot of the time, the selection based off a player that I've seen over the years is that people select the banners that have either their favorite on it, and they're willing to risk potentially getting someone that is not their favorite just because they love them so much. There are people who always go for the meta units, and they go for them because it's the easiest to understand that I need a meta unit to make my box better and for me to do better in the game. And then there are the people who just pick banners because it's a new servant, right? Anything that is new is a win in their eyes. How you decide to go for the GSSR is kind of dependent on how you view the game, I guess. What are you trying to get out of it? I would suggest that if you have a favorite character and you don't mind getting one of the other ones on there, you may as well just go with what your heart says. It's much easier to play this game when you play by the heart. It does hurt a lot more when you don't get them. Don't get me wrong on that, but it is much easier in the selection process, and that's what I've done in the years past and as well. But thankfully I have a lot of mine at this point. But if you're a beginner player, I'll assume that you're also looking for good meta picks to start of it. It's not like you're brand new to the game. give me some time to get some favorites in there. For right now, what is going to help my favorites? So for this video specifically, I'm just going to point out the ones that have the big supports on them, and then some of the DPSs that can also go, if you already have one of those supports, that would be good to have alongside them, and then that's going to be the end of the video. So let's start with some of the supports. So I'll also give a little bit of a quick how I feel about the banners and whether or not you should go for it. So the first one of these that pop up is Summer Scotty, who is the support for Quick. I think this is likely the last one most new players should be summoning on, only because Quick has a lot of investment to it, to the point where like even people who have been playing the game for years don't really have Quick set up because they're like, it's just too much investment to be put in Quick, and then also the gains can sometimes be not the greatest when it comes to Quick servants. So I think that if you're interested in Quick, this banner itself, the biggest problem is always going to be that if you fail to get Scotty, the others on it aren't going to be able to have like the most put out of them if you don't have the Quick support with them, like Brittle Mart and Huanzhou for sure. Sinnoh Rikyo, I could find someone using her in like a multi-core type team because she is still a berserker and she can do some slight support stuff from what I can remember, like increasing party's performance of Quick and some NP generation, so she can do a little bit of stuff like that, like charging an ally's NP gauge. There's other ways to use her compared to the other two who are just straight up, we would like to be used with the big Quick support. So again, I don't really suggest summoning on this one, even though I love Summer Scotty. It's hard to justify for a newer player when it's so much investment compared to Arts and Buster. Then next we have Arts, which has Castoria. Castoria is a great support to go for. She's, I think, the best of the supports in general in the game. She's so good that you can actually just borrow a friend Castoria and use completely free to play, use a 3-star who also slightly buffs Arts and can give some NP generation and some NP charge, and you can do a lot of the Arts teams in the game already. She's extremely good, worth having, worth using and stuff like that. And this banner is also pretty alright. The only one on here is that for a new player, I would say that Shi Huandi is definitely someone who's a little bit more experienced in the game. Like, so to get the most use out of him, you probably have to have been playing a decent bit here and have a team that can kind of give him the crit stars that he needs. But if you're a newer player, then I still think that it's worth it, especially as someone most recently said, I'm going for this banner because even though it's a 75% hit of good units on here, because this also has Scotty and it has Reynes, excuse me, because someone most recently told me, hey, can you try pronouncing their name a little bit better? They're my favorite and I love them so much. I usually call her Reigns, but I believe it's called Reynes. It's actually that. But either way, very good units here with next to Castoria, and then Shi Huandi takes a little bit more use to, but that's that banner. And then the next banner we have here is the one that features Koinskaya of Light, which also has Morgan, Melu, and Koinskaya of Darkness. This is a fantastic banner to go for because even though Arts, Buster takes a little bit more effort to build up compared to Arts, the thing that this banner has is that if you miss on the main support here, which is Koinskaya of Light, you get all three of the units I think are worth getting and worth having, especially because they're all fan favorites at the same time. Melu, Morgan, and Koinskaya of Darkness is the one where I think if you're paying a little bit more into the game is the one that's a little bit like on the weaker side compared to the other two, but I still think is usable, and likely there's a larger conversation to be had about needing buffs or something like that. But I still think she's usable because you would still, like, I'm assuming a new player, they're into Fate, they see a Tamamo face, they go, sick, give me that Tamamo. It makes sense. So again, I feel like, again, even though you would see Koinskaya of Darkness go like, that's not the exact one, you would still be kind of happy because it's Tamamo regardless. And once you get more into Fate Grand Order and you learn more about Melu and Morgan, you'll also grow to love them. And then the units themselves of these two are absolutely amazing. The go-to Buster Berserkers are Morgan and Arjuna Alter, who's down here. They're the kind of go-to AoE busters. Arjuna Alter's more for killing dudes, and for more team-wide synergies, it's Morgan. And then for Melu, she actually has two NP types. She's an AoE buster and a single target arts, and both sides of her are absolutely amazing. With the single target arts, you can use her as a single target arts, but her third skill is what actually changes her, and she can't change back, so you have to be a little bit careful of that if you're a newer player. But I still think you would go like, holy shit, this is an amazing unit when you're brand new to the game and you're just like blasting through the game. And finally, the second to last support actually, is Oberon. Oberon is the unit I'd say that after you get Koyanskaya of Light, Summer Scotty, or Castoria, he's probably... The next thing you should likely get is either a DPS or Oberon himself. Oberon can offer 70% NP charge to a single unit. 20% of it is team-wide, and then 50% is to one of them. And his third skill, it reads like a lot of words because it's a lot, but the basic gist of it is once you use it on a character, they get extremely powerful, like crazy powerful, but at the end of that turn, they enter Eternal Sleep, and from that point on, they are basically dead. They're no longer useful. It's of high risk, high reward, and if it's the last move you use, then obviously then everything's fine because the fight is over, so who cares if they go to sleep? They earn the rest, but he's absolutely amazing as a generic support that can be used with multiple different units, extremely good and worth owning as well. And then the last support I want to talk about, because this is a little bit off the beaten road, especially for a newer player, but it's Lady Avalon, her banner which features Miss Crane and Van Gogh. Lady Avalon is an art supporter similar to Castoria, but not on the same level of good as Castoria, but she does offer stuff that Castoria doesn't have. Castoria has almost everything, and then the things she doesn't have, they gave to Lady Avalon, which is some healing, crit star generation, and overcharging parties NP stage. So she's also really good, but she's also kind of like a secondary one. She can't carry it by herself because she only gives 20% to the team, which you can see here, 20% from the second skill because she's based off of Merlin, and Merlin only does 20%. He doesn't do the full 50. Still worth keeping an eye on, and this banner that she comes with is also pretty good. Miss Crane is probably a little bit too advanced for most new players, but later on she's really good. She's a support that really wants to be used with other units that have costumes. And then Van Gogh is also an amazing support that likely is a little bit too advanced for some brand new players, but they have a buff that buffs existence outside of the domain allies by giving them 100% crit damage. And they are also on existence outside of the domain, so if you're using two of them, that's 200% crit damage to the entire party if they all have existence outside of the domain. And then you can use her with a lot of other units that have buff Chaotic Evil, which is mainly Domin, which I can look at right here. Domin, I know your ass is somewhere here. There you are. Domin, who you can see here on their third skill, increases the attack of Evil, Alignment, and Chaotic, so they would get both of them, and the crit damage, just absolute terror. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, I really like Van Gogh, and I think it's worth bringing her up as a support, but for most new people, it's probably too much. And that's the basic gist of it. And some other ones that have some good DPSs on them, we can look at the banner here. So if you already have one of the supports, you can look at one of the following banners. You can still summon on the Summer Scotty banner because Summer Scotty herself is also a DPS that can be used with quick supports. For arts, we have this one over here, which has Summer Castoria, Kenshin, Melusine, and the Trong Sisters. The Trong Sisters are not on the same levels as these, but these are really fantastic. For AoE, we have the one that has Summer Ibuki, Summer Melusine, Durga, and Pope Joan. Summer Ibuki is absolutely the best AoE arts unit. I have her, and I've only ever used her since getting her. Absolutely amazing. For Buster, we have a wide range of them, but I'm going to just focus in on the AoE one here that again features Sky of Light, Melu, Morgan, and Sky of Darkness, and then right next to them is another one that features Ash the Savior, Tiamat, Archetype Earth, and Kukulkan. Archetype Earth is the only one on here that I think for a beginner is a lot of investment. At MP1, I think in the early stages you'll find like, oh my god, she's really good, but then as you get later into the game, her damage will fall off, and then you'll learn that a lot of the benefit of Archetype Earth is that she is an amazing farmer and an amazing unit, but you really need to put a lot of investment in her and start getting her more additional NP copies and stuff like that. Another one to bring up, because I also didn't bring them up when I talked about supports, is this one that features Merlin, Super Orion, Shi Huandi, and Sherlock. The only problem about this one, I would actually not suggest a new player summon on this one, is that Shi Huandi and Sherlock are on it, and those are not good for beginners. They would, you would not get the same benefit as summoning on this banner compared to the one I mentioned last time. It's like night and day difference, even though Super Orion and Merlin himself are insanely good. Super Orion is a Buster Gorilla with an arts support, which means that he can do a lot of crit damage in his basic cards. Like, his basic cards, once he's fully built up and running, can hit as hard as a Noble Phantasm, and Merlin can help facilitate that by giving more crit damage. And then next we have, for AoE arts for the men's side, Telemaeos, Tez, and Rasputin. Rasputin is definitely not beginner friendly, but Tez into Telemaeos is. Telemaeos actually switches from arts to Buster, but unlike Melusine, he doesn't get locked in, which also is something a little bit funky to deal with for a new player, but I think the power offset is good enough. You'll learn. And Tez is a fantastic AoE for arts assassin, who's also a really good support. I'm actually using him for that. And then, of course, we have Oberon, who has Arjuna Altar, who's just such an insane powerhouse that you point things at him and they die in your direction. And then I'll also bring up this Buster banner that has King Asan, Kintoki on it, because both of them are really good Buster single target units that can kill an enemy pretty effectively. Moriarty is too, probably not on the same level as these two, but he's like, I think, just a little notches below them. And then way below them in the fun zone is Hijikata. Hijikata can, in theory, hit as hard as one of them, but it requires him to be at like 1 HP, and that's fun to play with, but probably not very helpful for like a newer player. Okay, and that's basically it. I just barely went over 15 minutes. I think we're at 17 minutes or so, and I think that's good enough to call it in. Again, if you want more details about everything, you can go check out the much longer hour and 30-minute long version, but hopefully this can help you if you're just looking for a direction of some kind. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till next time, peace out. Bye-bye.